Good morning and welcome to the Business Lens of Rapid Television Abuja. It is great to have you with us on this special edition. Yes, you're going to find out why it's the special edition anyway, where we're going to be looking at the numbers, the figures, and how it directly affects you and your businesses. I am Divine Alex. So let's begin with the key business trends that matter right now, starting from the headlines. So we're beginning with the first one, the new data from the National Bureau of Statistics that says Nigeria spent about 7.65 trillion naira importing food and beverage products in 2025, with processed food alone accounting for 4.17 trillion naira, while primary food imports made up another 3.49 trillion naira. And sliding into the ultimatum story that says the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has given owners of private transmission substations connected to the national grid 45 days to obtain an independent electricity transmission network operator permit, in a move they said is aimed at tightening oversight and improving grid reliability after repeated transmission line trips reported by the Nigerian Independent System Operator. Now to the part where everyone is definitely going to love. That is the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, saying that Nigerians in the diaspora can now obtain their national identification number through accredited enrollment centers abroad. This, they say, is a move expected to ease registration for the country's more than 17 million citizens that are overseas, as the NIN becomes mandatory for banking, for SIM registration, and passport services. Next up is the Securities and Exchange Commission. Nigeria has launched its first regulatory fintech clinic, opening direct engagement with Nigeria's rapidly growing financial technology sector as the Commission moves to align innovation with investor protection under the new Investments and Securities Act of 2025. And on the part that touches every one of you and I is that of the Nigeria's fuel market that is shifting rapidly. We've been discussing this for ages now, I think for the past 1 week or so. Now, the federal government has suspended petrol import licenses for a second straight month after data from the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority showed domestic refineries now supply about 92% of the 39.6 million liters of petrol that was distributed in February, with the Dangote refinery alone producing 36.5 million liters, even as petrol prices briefly climbed to about 1,175 naira per liter initially, before being reduced to, I think, 1,075 naira. While the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria warns prices could approach 2,000 naira per liter if supply pressures persist, a concern that is amplified by the global tensions as Iran cautions oil could surge to $200 per barrel if instability disrupts the Strait of Hormuz, which handles about 20% of the global crude shipments, prompting the International Energy Agency to consider releasing 400 million barrels of oil to stabilize the global supply. Now, from that, we move straight to the market, where we saw on Wednesday, yesterday, March 11, that investors on the Nigerian exchange take profits again, wiping about 107.6 billion naira off market value, as the all share index dipped by roughly 167 basis points to close at 195,898.54 points, with selling pressure hitting consumer goods, insurance, and other large stocks, while some dividend yields and growth indices still showed pockets of resilience. We will be looking at those stories and more on today's edition of the Business Lens after the break. My name is Divine Alex. Stay with us.
Nigeria's economy, the global market, what does it all mean for you? From stock market insights to global financial news you need to know, from Wall Street to the Main Street and of course the marketplace.
Get the answers you need every week on Business Lens as I bring into focus the stories, strategies, and shifts shaping our economy. No angle is missed as I talk about the business, the people, patterns, and possibilities behind them. Welcome to the Business Lens.
Rapid TV, rooted in truth, driven by impact.
You are welcome back. My name is Divine Alex, and you are still on the Business Lens of Rapid Television, Abuja. And I have with me, you know, the full gang. That's what I'm going to definitely call it. I have Daniel Effa, who is financial global analyst, business analyst. So thank you and welcome. I think this is the first time that we're seeing this year after you disappeared. And then you all know Adekunle Abiola, who is from Keto Market. We've been doing this together, you know, so that is why I said it's the full gang. And that is why I also said that this is definitely going to be a special edition of today's Business Lens. Now, let's dive into it proper. Now, looking across today's business headlines, one issue seems to connect several of all of them, right? Now, from the energy and market confidence, we have Nigeria that is now relying more on domestic refining, with data from the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority showing about 92% of petrol supplied in February, which is good, coming from local refineries. At the same time, there is global tensions that involved Iran, Israel, and the United States that are raising concerns about oil supply disruptions around the Strait of Hormuz, a route that carries roughly 1/5 of the world's crude shipments. And as investors also react to these uncertainties, we are also seeing profit taking on the Nigerian exchange, where about 107 billion naira was wiped off market value on Wednesday, which is yesterday. Now, so the big question becomes, how do global oil politics, Nigeria's energy transition, and investor behavior all connect? I know a lot of people are confused. I think till yesterday, despite the fact that we've been discussing about this, a lot of people do not have knowledge of why the war is actually getting to us, which is going to be the very first question, because we need to be able to assist those people. Because I think not too long ago, I asked somebody, why do you think there is now a spike in transportation? He said maybe it's the subsidy removal. So you can imagine that we've been talking about this, but maybe because we've not actually given them a proper breakdown to how this connects and why it's affecting their pockets directly. So I'm going to be starting with you, Daniel Effa, since you're our star guest for today. So what can you do that has returned? It's good to have you. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I think so the world is a global place, and one of the most important resource is crude oil. Crude oil is what gives, we generate petrol, diesel, and every energy sources we use for transportation, logistics, industries. And there is a war between the US, Iran, and Israel that has escalated, and eventually one of the pathways for shipments, right? Most, like 1/5 of the entire supply of crude oil and other related products pass through Iran, right? There's a particular strait, there's a particular sea that passes through that Iran is just at the center of. Iran is saying, because we are in this war, we are going to leverage that, and nobody is passing here, right? So, and the alternative route is almost like a 1 week you get shipping route, right? And that alone is a big issue, because most of the Middle East itself is one of the biggest source of crude oil conversations globally, and any other related products. So not being able to pass there means that the supplies that come from that particular location would affect everybody that is affected, including people that do not have a need for that particular route. Why? Because the global oil production capacity it's controlled, right? OPEC has a part, and also other non-OPEC members. So because the supply is managed, right, if there is a 20% off, let's assume that the total supply is 10, let's say 10 liters a day, and about 2 is taken out of it, you will need others to fill in extra 8, and that is a very serious number based on the kind of transactions that happen. So that supply disruption is affecting the price of crude, because then people that are speculators will start looking to buy crude. You get quickly buy crude into the future, and that will raise the price. So that's basically what has raising the price of crude in the global market. All right. How is it affecting us? Is because we have protected ourselves from it, right? For example, you can see the US is loading the global supply space with reserve, from their reserve. We don't have a reserve, and it's not from the government's point of view. we basically sell our crude directly to our local refinery at the current price. So if you sell at the current price, you will definitely face the shocks, right? However, there's so many dynamics to it. Should it be like that if you have something in large supply and it's suddenly expensive? Can't you suddenly bring the prices down to favor your people? That is another conversation entirely. But the reason why it is expensive at the moment is because of that particular crude oil that is being disrupted. That supply chain has been disrupted.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Let me come to you, Economist Abiola. Now, what would you add to this? Now, let's also remember or note the fact that they say, oh, we have refineries, we're supposed to be producing, so why are we feeling this shock?
Oh, well, just to add to what he's saying, or what he has said, apart from the fact that we have crude oil, we have refinery, for the longest time, we've always been importing PMS. And as I think last year, Dangote was not meeting up to 30% of the local demand.
Nice was even 45 or thereabouts.
Yeah, so I'm even a little bit puzzled how suddenly we are now at 80%,
90
or 90%,
92 actually.
And the figure also for local consumption has gone down from about 50 now to 39 million liters per day. So I feel that apart from the fact that the Strait of Hormuz is preventing oil tankers from moving, there are a whole lot of other ships that are also meant to pass. A whole lot. So you find out that other products that are usually raw materials in some industries, some manufacturing companies, are also being held up. So this is also going to create artificial price increase locally. So apart from the fact that PMS is increasing, because I bought 1,330 yesterday, apart from the fact that PMS is going up, the cost of other things will also still follow suit. The issue we are having now, or let me say, the reason why we're not feeling it now is because there's this buffer effect. Let's say there's a manufacturing plant that uses urea, for example, as their raw material, and they are not getting any supply, but they already have some they've produced. Once they finish that stock, there will be no stock, so it will now be in the secondary market. It's just like CBN saying, or the bank saying that there's no more dollars. You can only now get dollar from the secondary market. It will be priced based on the availability and based on demand. So what I'm adding is that apart from the fact that PMS will still continue to go up, because one way or the other, apart from Dangote being able to do 90%, it also means that Dangote, to a very large extent, is also a concentration risk.
Yes.
If anything happens to Dangote, then anything can happen locally. Even if they have a shortfall for a day or 2 days, immediately you feel the effect, because that gap that is usually being filled by imported PMS is no more there, whether by policy or by the war going on, is no more there. So PMS might still continue to go up. At the same time, other goods will also increase. Inflation will follow.
So you know that you said you bought 1,003 something.
Yeah,
a lot of people have gone as high as 1,700 naira to get it. 1615. Now this brings me to the question, right? Because we have the industry operators saying that this can push up to 2,000 naira per liter. Because I wanted to get your thoughts on this before we move to why the import licenses was halted. Now, do you think that this is going to happen? Or do you think the 2,000 naira is definitely going to be like the benchmark? At least let people understand how far it's going to stretch. Let's say, okay, it's going to get to 2,000 naira, maybe it's not going to exceed, or do you think it's going to exceed? And then how would you recommend people to find a way? It's really for business people. All these business people.
2,000, I even think it's a small number.
Oh, you think it's a small number? Yeah,
and this is the reason.
Okay.
In some parts of US already, we're already having $8 per gallon. If you strip it down to a liter, that's already $2 per liter, about 2008. Now, you have a refinery locally, or a big refinery locally, that is a global business. So it might get to a stage where the demand outside of Nigeria is so high that even Dangote himself will be tempted to supply the global market than selling at a loss in Nigeria. So many other countries, you're seeing $2, $3 per liter, some $4 per liter. But Nigeria is even a different country entirely. The reason why is because when people buy PMS in US, for example, they use it solely for their cars. They don't have to run generator. They don't have to use it for any other thing. In Nigeria, we use it for multi-faceted stuff, multi-level. So So the PMS in Nigeria, the demand goes beyond just driving around. Actually is intertwined into our daily lives. So it might get to a point that the global, what's it called? The global price have gone so much higher that even Dangote will be tempted to say, okay, let me supply you guys small because I'm not making so much money from you. Supply outside one, which might bring about scarcity, which will bring higher costs.
Okay, now let's go to the fact that Nigeria is now suspending petrol import licenses, which is a domestic refining account that for roughly 92%, like I said earlier, of local supply. Now, is this finally the structural shift that Nigeria has been waiting for in downstream oil sector? Would you call it that, Daniel?
I don't think it's a shift. I think it's a reaction to what's happening. So this is the thing. We cannot understand this fully except we go back to the data. MBS says that we imported about 8 trillion last year. That's about $7 billion or thereabout. About maybe $5 or $6 billion was spent last year, and a chunk of the 8 trillion, 3 trillion was just fourth quarter alone. And as at then, Dangote was still doing about maybe 40-45%, right? And prices were still around 800, right? So it's safe to say that the private marketers, one way or the other, have enough in their reserves.
Okay.
That they basically overbought in the fourth quarter of 2025, right? So fast forward 2026, in fact, they're making more money on us now with this price increase now because
now we'll stop.
Exactly. So now, if you allow for import license, what we don't want right now is a price war. A price war has always showed that it takes the prices higher instead of taking it lower. In Nigeria, it's a dynamics. Whatever happened last year, for example, was that the price war happened in the first quarter. They took it lower to a certain point before everybody agreed and they moved the prices up. Right now, we don't want those price shocks. We just want to maintain certain stability in pricing so that everybody goes home happy. So the importers are able to, we leave Dangote to do his thing, or they sell whatever they have at a premium price, right? They're making their money. Dangote is also determining his own price, making it. So it is more like, so the decision to actually do that is more of, let us keep the peace and maintain the stability.
Apart from
exactly.
Apart from us
and that is exactly what I was saying earlier. That's exactly what I was saying earlier. That I said that this is the kind of time government steps in to actually intervene in issues like this. Every government of the world is making decisions. Yeah. You just say, we're bringing out our reserve. Everybody wants to make sure that the people don't suffer the brunt. But now, what we are seeing instead is that it is not necessarily about us now, it's about the players in the space, keeping them happy. And that is not the core function of government.
Okay. Before we go deeper to discuss the next one, I want us to quickly look at this video from the Iran's government where they said that it's definitely going to go as high as $200 per barrel. So let's watch this one. When we come back, we'll discuss further on that particular one and its effects on our pockets.
شما باید بدانید که نخواهید توانست قیمت نفت و انرژی را با تنفس مصنوعی پایین بیاورید که با گسترش جنگ در منطقه اعلام کردیم منتظر بشکه‌ای $200 باشید چون قیمت نفت تابع امنیت در منطقه است که منشأ ناامنی شما هستید.
Okay, so Iran has warned that oil prices could spike to as high as $200 per barrel if instability disrupts shipments. You know, we mentioned it earlier when we were trying to give a breakdown of why this whole conflict is actually getting to us. Now, given that about the 20% of the global crude flows through them, now, how vulnerable is Nigeria's fuel market to this kind of geopolitical shock? Now, would local refining, right, truly shield Nigeria from global price spikes? That's if we continue to push more, because now they're saying 92 is sourced locally, right? If we are able to push, let's say, over that 92%, and then maybe we have more Dangotes come into the picture, do you think that they're actually going to shield Nigeria from price spikes? And would domestic pump prices still follow international crude prices?
First things first, I think I think this is what the Nigerian government should be looking at. First things first, whatever Iran is saying is not an economic statement. It's simply them trying to drive the prices. Now it's getting clearer that Iran simply wants a price higher so they can sell their own sanctioned oil cheaper, right? Because before this crisis started, prices were around $67, $68 per barrel, right? And they've been sanctioned for a long time.
Yeah.
And so that means that they've been selling this particular crude
maybe for 50
or even lesser. So now they're basically going to be selling 100, and they are still in good profit.
Yeah.
Right. So it is now looking more like it is a game of interest. So what should a country like Nigeria do? Is the government saying, OPEC, price is $200 per barrel. We can't do that to our people because it affects us also. And we are not going to follow you guys in doing this. It is not a normal time in the global conversation. It is not a normal time. When we go back to normal time, we will follow OPEC's mandate. But for now, that for our people cannot afford to see crude oil prices at 200 or pay 2,000 naira for petrol. It's not a subsidy conversation. It's just selling at the price you want to sell. Because if 92% of your local domestic demand for petrol is created by the refinery that is in your borders, then why not just sell to the price to the refinery to the price any price you decide to sell? You don't have to then follow, because now it's not looking anymore like a war that is basically out of you did me this, you did me that. Is a function of pure interest.
Yeah, but sorry to cut you, but if OPEC, it was saying we're in OPEC,
yes,
okay,
and we have to follow the standards of OPEC. So if OPEC nations are selling at 200, why would Nigeria on their own decide, for example, to sell at 70? Let's even assume they would, because I don't think Nigeria government would, but let's even assume that they would. Why would Nigeria sell at $70 or $80 when global prices from OPEC nations are selling at 200?
So this is.
Do we just disobey OPEC?
So let's do the example of what happened during COVID-19, when Russia added to become OPEC Plus, right? Okay. There was a supply limitation that each of these, and Russia devalued the supply limitation. It became an issue, and it was like it scattered the union. But at the end of the day, because Russia is a big player in this, Russia says no, we have to protect our people in this conversation, and that is exactly what I'm saying now. Because if already, right, if what we do is imports, that means we have less say about where the demand, where the production is coming from, refining capacity is coming from. But if it is locally, if Dangote refinery is giving us 92% of it, that means virtually everything that we consume here, then we can actually work out a deal that is not on the global level, right? It can sell whatever is left from whatever is producing to the global space, but it should be an arrangement that we should, for once, every arrangement, every rule, every treaty would always have an exception, particularly when there's a chaotic period, right? Some laws don't apply when there's war. Exactly. So this is that kind of time, because if Iran is saying 200, that means it is ready to take it to any level. That's what it means, right? Because all has never it's 200 in my lifetime. So if it's $200 per barrel, that means that this is extreme chaos for the entire globe, right? So if a country is bringing out its reserves, that means that is its own power to manipulate the market. We should also be able to do our own part to also manipulate the market. We can't just be at the receiving end of it all the time. And that's what I'm saying, that the government has to step in now to say this particular portion of crude, right? If you are the IOCs, for this period, there's a chaos in the globe. We cannot also afford to do this.
I agree that we should actually sell at a cheaper price to the refineries. I don't want to mention Dangote alone, because there are other modular refineries. And sell at the particular price and let them know that for this period, this is an extraordinary situation. We are selling at so price, so that your refined product can also be sold at this price.
Exactly.
You cannot go beyond this price. You know, sorry to cut you. The issue now for me is, are we going to do that? Because we've seen in time past. Because we've seen in time past that when it's time to profit grab, the Nigerian government, irrespective of which administration, will rather profit grab and promise subsidies or promise cushioning effects than allow the price to go down from source, which is the best source of subsidy. The best source of subsidy is for you to say, okay, the crude oil will come at a cheap price, so that nobody has any excuse. But if you're saying you're going to subsidize, then a whole new platform is open for even corrupt, people to take that subsidy and not apply it to the people getting the PMS at the end of the day.
Now, let's also look at how this is going to affect businesses and inflation, because if we say that if industry operators like Petron is saying it could go as high as 2,000, and you now, from your own analysis, you're looking at it like it's going to go beyond 2,000.
Oil was at 665,
yes,
right? And we're selling locally at 800. 800 and something, some 900. So quick maths. Now we're saying at 200. That's times 3. 800 times 3 is what? It's 2004.
2004.
So it's
Yes.
just, I think it's just normal math.
So now, if we are now looking at the fact that it's going to go higher than 2,000 naira,
Might, yeah.
now, how is this going to affect our inflation? How is this going to affect small businesses? We have to actually look at that.
Everybody should invest in stock and sit at home now. Nobody should go to work again.
But it's not going to work for us.
I
now.
buy electric car. If I had bought an electric car, I would have looked like a genius.
But
in
then,
this,
but
in
then
this.
it will be solar, because then what light are you using?
I don't mind putting solar even on the roof of the car. I'll drive it up and down.
Actually, and there's actually a trending video of someone carrying the generator powered,
Because the power is
electric.
really
Yes,
bad of
because
recent,
we also
yeah.
have to look towards that axis, right? Because now a lot of people are complaining. Usually around this period, there's usually heat. We know that
The heat is so much, but
yes,
the rain is
the
down.
electricity is usually sometimes maybe 60-40, but right now it's giving 70-30,
Yeah.
and we are on the 30%.
You're on the 30, yeah.
So a lot of people are already complaining. So, and now, like I said, I think it was on Monday when we were discussing, we had some business people come out to ask what's going on. And as at that time, nobody knew that they were going to buy petrol the next day for up to 1,500 naira, 1,600 naira at that time. But as at now, it has gone as high as 1,006, 1,007, 1,004, 1,003. So how do you think this is actually going to affect businesses, and how would you advise them to actually maybe take cushion to assist them to be better prepare, brace up more for when it gets to 2,400 or maybe 2,500 in the future?
It's going to be crazy. And what's going to even make it crazier is that the rainy seasons are here. And rainy season means less sunlight. Less sunlight means less solar power. So on one hand, you're not getting power from the grid. On another hand, you cannot run your generator because PMS now is higher. Then on the third hand, even though it's two hands, on the third hand now, there is no solar power. So power generation is going to be very, very crazy, except for small business owners. So what I see for businesses that can actually do remote, we might now be seeing more of remote work than people actually, moving up and down. Because if you're earning 100,000 naira, how do you want to go to the office every day for 30 days? If, for example, Kuba to Wuse is 2,005, it's how much are you being paid? So we might see companies that are actually move to remote. You will see more people moving to remote and just staying in one place, because that's the way they can conserve their expenditure. But businesses are going to be hit so much because I am in an office where we are serviced. I still have inverter, and I'm in the city center of the capital of Nigeria. So you can now scale that and say, okay, what about somebody in Akure? What about somebody in Uyo? What about somebody in Oyo State? That they are not even in the so-called privileged place, and I am there, and I am still having 3 layers of power generation, and I'm still having power issues. So it's going to really hit businesses very hard, and maybe we'll now start seeing still increase in prices of some services.
Which is the inflation we're talking about.
Inflation, if this doesn't end anytime soon, inflation would...
Inflation is in the room with us, in this newsroom with us.
might do do serious numbers. And this is, but I think I talked about it on Monday. We the citizens are the only ones, right? They are permitted to watch US, Iran, and Israel wars and start debating. The policymakers that we have should be making decisions, should be planning, should be saying what is the worst case scenario. If Iran, I heard Qatar finance oil minister talk about it on Friday, saying we are seeing oil get to 150. Iran, that is a major, that is affected, that is the war, that is a recipient of the war, active member in the war, is saying 200. So that means that they don't plan to unlock the Strait of Hormuz.
But by now, I feel that some Nigerian officials should have started coming out
to tell us.
Yeah, so granting interviews and say, this is our plan, this is what we are looking at. In case this goes like this, this is what we'll do. In case it does not go like this is what we'll
At least
do.
to assist people.
Let's even
For
be
better
informed.
planning.
Yes.
Exactly. It gives an idea of what,
That there's a
how
government.
do you want
Yes.
to approach it.
How do you want to
Because
approach
you
this?
cannot just be quiet. You cannot, because we have a coordinating minister of economy that should have at least granted at least 2 or 3 different interviews.
So many ministries that should come out
The
that this is affecting.
CBN governor should not, of course, should not
Yes.
be, because they just finished a monetary policy committee meeting, which is, he has already spoke about that. But the coordinating minister of the economy is really pivotal in this conversation. What are we doing? That is what will grant business confidence. Okay, this is what this is how our government wants to respond to this, right? Even the president has even come out to say this is what we are doing for our people. So it shows you that it is not time for government to sit down. It's time for government to actually act. We cannot be reactive to this issue.
You have to
because
be proactive.
we were reactive during COVID-19. Things that the private sector contributed to give the populace, we were ordered for as long as possible.
Yes, some were still distributed recently.
Same thing with Ukraine crisis. We were also reactive. Now we shouldn't be doing the same thing again and expecting that inflation will just go up and just come down by itself because we are holding or changing the figures. That is not what we need at the moment.
One easy way I say that the government can help, and I've seen it in time past in other countries, is that if you have small businesses, they can apply for some form of discount on their electricity. So the company is, okay, you are so and so SME, you can go and apply and submit all your documents, and they will tag your meter number and give you a discount, so that just a way to ease your business, and it can continue for as long as possible. Why? Because we are the one generating our own electricity. So the government is at liberty to say, okay, let's reduce for now. So if instead of me paying, okay, the bill they brought last week was 306,000 naira for a small office space, say we are on Bandi or whatever, okay, no problem. But now this might even go higher, and the power is not even there. So at the end of the day, if they now say, okay, instead of paying this 306,000, pay 100,000, pay 150,000, then you are already helping that business indirectly. Yes. By saying, okay, this is the government. I can go anywhere and say, oh, see what the government is doing for us. But the government has to come out and say these things. Every ministry have their own way in which they can actually chime in and say, this is what we are going to do in this extraordinary situation. But once situation gets back to normal, everybody carry your cross.
I get that. Okay, thank you so much. But before we go, do you have any last submission to the conversation that we had here? Something that you want to add, or tell people, or even the policymakers, even though we've talked extensively on that?
I think the conversation is simple. We cannot leave our people exposed to this issue. It doesn't look like it's going to end soon. The US president says they are projecting a 4-week period, but Iran is ready to go as long as possible, and we cannot afford another COVID-19 crisis to any country, not talk of Nigeria, that is still trying to get itself back, right? So it is time to basically act. People need to also feel confidence starts from the sentiment first before the actual action, right? So people need to know that the government is actually there for them. To actually, okay, this is what the government looks at, because then the easiest way to touch anybody's life right now is the energy, whether through electricity or those two things, and those two things are within the grasp of the government to solve. And it's important that private sector conversations with the government this is kind of time you should have them, because they are the ones that will basically tell you where the real issues are.
Okay.
Yeah, I also am thinking in that line, because in any country there are things that I see as national security. One is food, one is protection of your borders, another thing is energy. So going forward, Nigeria has to start actively decentralizing. I know we have actually decentralized power generation, but it's not enough. If our power generation is still loop-sided, that is why we're having this power shortage, because maybe there's shortage in gas or whatever, or water, or there's no rainy season and all that. So if we can tackle energy security, food security, securing our borders, you'll find out that the country would be more stable, because these are security issues.
Okay, thank you so much, Economist Abiola, and thank you, Daniel Effa, for being on the show today. And thank you to you who is on the other end watching us right now. That is how we draw the curtains on the Business Lens on Rapid Television Abuja today. My name is Divine Alex. Keep the date again with us on Monday, 11 a.m. And don't forget to stay with Rapid TV. Bye for now.
My name is Akio Sakiodo.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Leo Bliss.
My name is Akava. Go by the name Baba D.
And you're tuned into Rapid TV. And I love Rapid TV.
Shout out
Rapid TV.
Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV.
This is Rapid TV.
Rapid TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it down. Leave it like that.
In Nigeria's capital, Abuja, the journey from home to work, school or the market can be as challenging as the destination itself. Economic hardship, rising fuel prices and limited public transport means residents spend hours in go-slows paying more than they can afford.
If I'm coming to this place, if I fuel my car, maybe probably 3,000 naira, I'll go and come. But now, if I'm coming here, if there is nothing, I'll put 10,000 naira. From this place to this place, going out, if I just enter house, the fuel will be, it will finish. It's not easy.
The bottom line is fuel should come down. If the fuel drop now, transportation will come down, food will come down, school fees will come down, house rent will come down.
Some workers are forced to sleep at their place of work during the week to keep transport costs down. Every morning, long lines of commuters form at bus stops before sunrise. Minibuses and keke napep motor trams fill the capacity. For some, the wait is almost as exhausting as the day ahead. Fuel price hikes have pushed daily transport costs to intolerable highs, forcing many to spend too much of their income just to move. Small business owners feel the squeeze. For traders bringing goods from out of the city, transport costs are rising faster than profits. The result? High prices for everyday essentials in the city markets.
The cost of transportation these days is on the high side. You understand? Yeah. Like we that used to come all the way from the main satellite towns, it's times 2 of what we were paying before. Yeah. You know, you can imagine you coming all the way from Suleja to this place, spending 5,000 naira through and flow daily. So how much are you earning?
Abuja's growth has outpaced its transport system. Authorities have promised improved road networks, bus terminals and new buses, but progress is slow and commuters say they've waited too long. On top of these threats of insecurity are ever present with thieves every day to snatch phones and valuables, and the notorious one-chance kidnappers make everybody scared and nervous. Affordable public bus services are few for a city of several millions. However, 2 new grand bus terminals were opened at the end of June 2025 at Mabushi and Kubo, Hotel. If these edifices will contribute to any gainful improvement in the city's transport infrastructure.
Some areas in Abuja now have train stations. And you know, the capacity that train will carry is more than the capacity buses are going to carry. So I would advise if there can be more train stations around Abuja, because the places I can say there are train stations now, those Piakasa, airport road, Kubwa, I think in Day too. So I would advise if there can be train station in other places in Abuja, aside those places too.
There are plans for an Abuja Metro Lights railway train system, although currently only the first phase is operating as a link between Idu train terminal and Abuja Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport. If and when further phases are built, these may help relieve the stress of transportation in the capital, but no firm plans are forthcoming in the near future. For Abuja residents, the daily commute is more than a journey. It is a test of patience, endurance, and even existential survival.
My name is Akio Sakido.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Theo Bliss.
My name is Akava. Go by the name Baba D.
And you're tuned into Rapid TV. And I love Rapid TV.
Shout out Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV. This is Rapid TV.
Rapid TV.
Keep watching. Keep it down. Leave it like that.
Cost of food is
Yes.
of course, yes.
Of course.
Now today, that will not be child place self. When you go to the market with 100,000, coming back from the market, you know go see what you buy. But you want to ask yourself, where the 100,000 want to take go market now? Now only what's in the back you go carry come back. So it's really affecting things in the market.
By helping us by reducing the fuel, because fuel input is the thing that is causing this problem. If people come to the market, buy something very high.
You said it, all we needed.
In this country, we don't have people that control price of things. Nobody do. But they haven't control the price of food. Talk more of food stuff in the market.
If you are asking.
Before, last month, they sell strawberries for this basket 2,000, 2,500. But now they sell them 1,500, 1,000.
This year, come down small past last year. So we enjoy the kind small price we come down for this time around.
In fact, I nearly collect slap from one woman this afternoon because of price of things. I bought this last week. Why today again it has doubled by the price? And I was like, I'm not the cause. She was like asking me who is the cause. I said yes. I said the same way I bought. If I buy 1 naira, I will say 1 naira. If I buy 2 naira, I will definitely say 2 naira. So it's not my fault at all.
They complain bitterly. They complain too much. They complain. No be small complain.
Yes, then they complain, say they will not buy like that because they not get money to buy for that price.
You understand small, the thing they come down small.
Some people know, but the thing is that things are very hard. People don't even enter market. There's no money to enter market. That's one.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on StarTimes Channel 176, Nigecomsat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. The sound of your city, rooted in truth, driven by impact.
My name is Akio Sakido.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Theo Bliss.
My name is Akava. Go by the name Baba D.
And you're tuned into Rapid TV. And I love Rapid TV.
Shout out Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV. This is
Hello and welcome to Rapid TV News. My name is Victor Arke. Let's begin with the headlines. Senate confirms Taiwo Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance. NIMET warns of rising temperatures, names states at risk. And federal government suspends petrol import licenses for second straight month. On the foreign scene, Air New Zealand cancels 1,100 flights amid fuel price surge. And in sports, the Tigers defeat Colombia 70-37 in World Cup qualifier opener. Details of these and more will come to you in the bulletin. Do stay with us. The Nigerian Senate has confirmed Taiwo Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance. During his screening at the National Assembly, he outlined plans aimed at stabilizing government revenues and protecting Nigerians from the effects of volatile global oil prices. Oyedele says one key strategy is the adoption of forward crude sales, which would allow Nigeria to lock in oil prices ahead of time. The minister also emphasized the importance of realistic budgeting and prudent government spending. He also called for the diversification of Nigeria's revenue sources beyond taxation and oil, identifying the solid mineral sector as a major opportunity for growth.
Apart from taxation, we have, we are endowed as a nation. We have solid minerals scattered all over the country. Even my village is gold. Kabo, there's gold in Kabo local government. But the issue is this: we'll not be able to tap the appropriate revenue from our solid mineral. We're talking about all
revenue to drive your budget, and whatever gaps you have to do cash management planning. You've allocated an amount because an area is considered to be important. If there's no money to support it, it's as good as not having been allocated.
Taiwo Oyedele, and I also congratulate the president. Your intellect is never in doubt. I want to also congratulate you for what you did with the tax reforms around the country. Helped a lot to douse tension. And your appearances in various fora also assisted to educate Nigerians that it was a good thing for the taxes to be harmonized. And I think it brought down a lot of tension. So now, Mr. President has found it necessary to elevate you beyond being a special advisor to now being a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The confirmation is expected to strengthen the leadership and the finance ministry as government continues efforts to stabilize the economy. The House of Representatives has moved to strengthen the country's electoral framework with a proposed amendment to the Electoral Act aimed at prohibiting dual political party membership. Lawmakers say politicians found belonging to more than one political party could face a fine of 10 million naira, 2 years imprisonment, or both if the amendment becomes law. The move comes as political activities gradually gather momentum ahead of the 2027 general election. Our correspondent, Linda Ike, tells us more.
Weeks after President Bola Tinubu signed the Electoral Act into law, the House reviewed Section 77, which deals with political party membership. Lawmakers say the amendment is designed to prevent double registration and multiple party affiliations among politicians. According to them, the measure is aimed at strengthening the integrity and exclusivity of party membership in Nigeria's democratic process. Acting leader of the House, Sada Soli, says the move will help promote accountability within political parties.
14 days. Elect in writing one political party to retain membership. Because we must guarantee the freedom of association. Then failure to make such election shall render that person ineligible to participate in the primary election of any political party for that electoral cycle. This law must be clear on this process. Otherwise, the lawyers within that 21 days gap, they will stop primary elections of any political parties.
However, the proposed amendment sparked mixed reactions among some lawmakers who urged caution and further deliberation.
The freedom to associate with all the two political parties might have... Is it possible for somebody to go to another political party without my permission to go and register me there, and now turn around to claim that I have registered in two political parties? If it is possible, then we might be creating a situation that we may not be able to manage.
I think you cannot, it will be mischief to, as an adult, go and register in two political parties at the same time. It is wrong. Totally wrong, an act of dishonesty. You should belong to one and follow that one through. But you cannot eat your cake and have it.
But Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu dismissed the concerns, maintaining that the amendment is necessary to strengthen the nation's democratic institutions as it scaled through the House.
If you have, as a party, submitted your register, and there are about 3 registers or 4 registers where somebody wants to be mischievous, is in Party A, Party B, Party C. Yes. What should be his punishment? That is where we are.
Earlier during plenary, 5 lawmakers announced their defection from the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party. Their letters of defection were read by the Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas. 4 of the lawmakers moved to the All Progressives Congress, while 1 defected to the Accord Party.
I write to formally inform you and this honorable House of my decision to resign my membership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and declare for the All Progressive Congress, APC, effective immediately. The primary reason for my defection is the protracted crisis and internal division currently plaguing the PDP, which has adversely affected its ability to maintain cohesion and deliver effectively on its mandate. Because of my decision to defect from the Labour Party to the All Progressive Congress, the ruling party. This decision has become necessary and inevitable due to the prolonged and unresolved leadership crisis within the Labour Party.
The amendment is part of ongoing legislative efforts aimed at strengthening Nigeria's electoral system ahead of further elections. From the National Assembly, Linda Ike, Rapid TV News.
Thus, tension is said to be mounting within terrorist camps linked to the Islamic State West Africa province, following the killing of one of its top commanders, Modu Kunduli. Reports indicate that troops of Operation Hadinkai neutralized the insurgents during a failed attack on a forward operating base in Manyanti village, Bama local government area of Borno State. Security analyst Zagazola Makama reports that Kunduli had been a prominent figure in the insurgency for more than a decade, coordinating attacks across Borno and Adamawa states. He was previously aligned with Boko Haram before joining ISWAP after the death of its former leader Abubakar Shekau in 2021. Analysts believe his elimination represents a significant setback for the group's operations in the northeast. Meanwhile, Nigerian troops have continued aggressive patrols in the area to prevent remaining fighters from regrouping and launching further attacks. Moving on to other story, residents of Makoko, Okoagbon, and Sogunro communities in the Yaba area of Lagos State have community members say there was no formal agreement with the state government on relocation despite several meetings and engagements. According to the residents, discussions with government officials had only involved suggestions and debates without any final decision. They also questioned claims regarding ownership of the waterfront communities, insisting that Makoko has existed for decades as a fishing settlement inhabited mainly by the Ogu people. Residents say they prefer a plan where government relocation plans are imposed without proper consultation. Turning to the weather, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has issued a nationwide warning over rising temperatures across several parts of the country. The agency says residents of Benue, Nasarawa, the Federal Capital Territory, Kogi, Niger, Kebbi, Cross River, Oyo, Ogun, and other states of southern Nigeria are particularly vulnerable to extreme heat conditions. NIMET explained that prolonged exposure to high temperatures could lead to heat stress, a condition that occurs when the body cannot cool itself effectively. The agency noted that dehydration, poor ventilation, heavy clothing, and excessive physical activity can worsen the situation. Vulnerable groups include children, the elderly, outdoor workers, and people with underlying health conditions. To reduce health risk, NIMET advised Nigerians to stay hydrated, avoid prolonged exposure to the sun, wear light clothing, and remain in well-ventilated spaces. Parents were also cautioned not to leave children unattended in parked vehicles during hot weather. Young women and girls have been encouraged to remain focused, determined, and passionate about the career path they choose to pursue. The Director of Quality Assurance at the Federal Capital Territory Administration, Hajarat Titilayo Alayande, gave the charge in Abuja on Wednesday during an event marking this year's International Women's Day celebration. Rapid TV News correspondent Josephine Bitrus reports.
Attention is being drawn to the growing contribution of women to national development in recent years. Across sectors such as politics, business, education, healthcare and technology, women are increasingly playing vital roles in shaping economic progress and social transformation. This year's International Women's Day theme, Give to Gain, calls for stronger and faster efforts towards achieving gender equality and empowering women in all areas of society. The annual celebration highlights the achievements of women while advocating for equal opportunities and greater inclusion. In many countries, more women are stepping into leadership and decision-making positions, influencing policies that support inclusive development and stronger institutions. Women entrepreneurs are also contributing significantly to economic growth, creating businesses that generate employment and promote innovation. At the same time, women in education and healthcare continue to strengthen communities by providing essential services and advancing knowledge.
They are now in clusters. They have improved their earnings. They have multiple sources of income now. So they have opportunities to complain when they need to, and they have access to soft loan and grants. So with the social safety net, significant is everyone must have his ears on ground so that you have information about opportunities in Nigeria.
For many young women and girls, pursuing education, developing valuable skills, and remaining confident in their abilities are key steps toward making meaningful contributions to their communities and chosen careers.
In whatever career you want to pursue, you must know the career. You must be educated. So they should seek for knowledge. All young people should, they should allow themselves to be mentored. They should see elder women as their mentors. So they should learn from parents, from aunties, from their workplaces or from their school.
International Women's Day is officially celebrated annually on March 8. However, in many parts of the world, the entire month of March is recognized as Women's History Month. In Abuja, Josephine Bitrus, Rapid TV News.
You're still watching the news on Rapid Television. We'll bring you more stories after this break. Just stay with us. In a world where every swipe, click, or tap is shaping our future, technology is no longer a distant dream. It is the heartbeat of Africa and the world at large. From innovations to gadgets to startups and digital lifestyles, Tech Up with Victor takes you round. A show that makes technology simple, practical, and exciting for everyone. Join us every week on Rapid TV as we break down tech trends, spotlight African innovators, and connect Africa's digital story to the global stage. Tech Up with Victor, where innovation meets you.
Correro, your front row seat to the most pressing issues, from the corridors of power to the heart of our communities. We bring you unfiltered insight, fearless journalism, and the conversations that matter. And I invite you to this big conversation table as we analyze the top stories, ask the tough questions, and hold power to account. News that informs, analysis that empowers, debate that drives change. Correro, the big conversation. Every weekday at 7 p.m. Only on Rapid TV.
Nigeria's economy, the global market. What does it all mean for you? From stock market insights to global financial news you need to know. From Wall Street to the Main Street and of course the marketplace.
Get that you need every week on Business Lens as I bring into focus the stories, strategies and shifts shaping our economy. No angle is missed as I talk about the business, the people, patterns and possibilities behind them. Welcome to the Business Lens.
Rapid TV, rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Are you missing out on interviews, music, entertainment, thought-provoking discussions, and more? Don't sweat it, man. We've got you covered. No matter where you are, be part of the action. 24/7, online and live. Caesar Radio.
On Facebook, it's Rapid FM Umahia. On Instagram, it's official Rapid FM. And on X, it is Rapid FM 965. Tune in to Rapid 96.5 FM or listen to us live on our website at www.rapidfm965.com or radiogarden.com.
Better yet, get our mobile app from the Google Play Store.
Catch the pulse of the Southeast on Rapid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city.
Hey, Oyanam, all Caesar Radio.
Meet the men and women shaping the future. We'll take you behind the scenes and inside the chambers of the Nigerian National Assembly. Learn about the bills they are championing, the challenges they are facing, and the impact they are making in their constituencies. We'll also bring you closer to the people they are serving and the stories that shape their work. Join us on Mass Watch every Friday on Rapid Television at 7 p.m. So get informed, get engaged, and get to know the leaders shaping Nigeria's future.
Welcome back. You're still watching the news on Rapid Television. Moving on now to other stories. Another increase in fuel prices is hitting Nigerians where it hurts the most, as transport fares and the cost of basic necessities continue to rise across the country. Commuters, transport operators, and small business owners say the rising cost of petrol is making daily movement and business operations more difficult, placing additional pressure on already stretched household budgets. Our correspondent, Faith Oyewole, reports.
Fuel prices has increased again, with Nigerians feeling the pressure. From high cost of transport fares to daily expenses, Nigeria is feeling the impact. Faith Oyewole reporting.
Nigerians are feeling the impact of yet another hike in fuel prices, with daily commuting becoming more expensive than ever. From bus fares to cost of everyday goods, families, commuters, and transport workers are adjusting to this harsh new reality. Many say the rising cost of fuel is stretching already tight budgets, forcing them to spend more than just to get to work, school, or run errands.
The first thing is kind of frustrating, honestly. The price of transportation is really on the high side for we workers. It's just draining. So I just hope there is a faster solution to it as soon as possible, because one of the major things in Nigeria today is this fuel thing. So we can't really do a lot without fuel itself. So I just hope the government come together to look into it and then prepare a solution to it.
Apart from transport that's affected feeding, the amounts in which we buy things before foodstuffs has increased due to the money we use in transporting these goods to the market. So now what we used to buy like 500 is now 800. Sometimes it's even more than 1,000 naira due to the increase in price of fuel. And transport, even when the price of fuel has not increased, they've increased the price of transport. But if any choice, we are moving with it.
Commercial drivers report that higher pump prices have compelled them to raise transport fares just to keep their vehicles running. But fewer passengers are boarding as many now choose to walk, leaving drivers struggling to support their families.
Passenger is crying, driver is shouting. So we don't know, just they pray. We are praying for the grace of God. This is only grace of God in this country now, because this country, we don't know how to say. Go up, they will come down. Fuel now 1,250 naira per liter. How much the person, a bus driver, before he do deliver in children, we eat. How much he will take to home? So you should look at the situation of this country. It's very worse every day. Instead of to come down, the situation of the country is worsening every day.
One is that it has reduced the number of passengers we are supposed to have. Then the money that we are getting, we use it all to buy fuel. So it's not helping us for anywhere.